Rise and shine, my people. Welcome back to the channel. This is Evan at the Physique. In today's video, I will be reacting to Greg Doucette's video to Alex Eubank, telling him it's time to get on steroids. Alex Eubank is a fitness influencer. Many of you probably know him. He claims to be natural, just like I do. So I have not seen this video. I'm excited to see what Greg has to say. And, you know, being in the same boat as Alex, both of us being natural, I'm definitely going to be sharing my opinions on what Greg has to say. So let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, action.
Heavily considering maybe doing a TRT dose.
My arms are not big enough. My shoulders are just too small. I'm not lean enough.
This is going to be good.
Coach Greg, and in today's video, it's time for Alex Eubank to cook or get off the pot. Yet again, he's talking about he might be hopping on gear, and this time he's talking about it to none other than Bradley Martin. And so, what do you think?
Of all people for him to be talking about taking gear with, he's talking to Bradley Martin. And I think this is just something that people in the fitness industry do. They flirt with this idea of taking gear, especially if you already have an audience, especially if that audience already doubts the fact you're natural. It can help to farm engagement, if you know what I mean. When you talk about taking gear, when you say, I might do it, I feel like doing it. So Alex is a master at that. We all know this. But let's continue.
Bradley Martin's gonna tell him. We're gonna watch the video, answer the questions, decide once and for all, should Alex Eubank take TRT?
I'm in like that shitty stage where like when you're natty and stuff, you can either be like shredded but you're flat, you know what I mean? So you look good with a pump, or like bulked and full, but I'm in like that shitty stage where like I'm cutting but I'm not like shredded yet. Oh, that's the worst.
This is what's really going on.
I disagree with Alex here. For the most part, he is right, and for most people, he is right. However, I like to think there is a good balance of being bulked up and having that size that you want that makes you feel good while also being shredded. I myself would be an example, but again, maybe not everybody can get on that level, at least not overnight, of course.
Eubank has body dysmorphia. Yeah, I said it. And you know how I know that? Because he doesn't think he's very lean. He thinks he's in an in-between stage. You know, he's not lean right now. He's somewhere in between. He's somewhere between a bulk and looking lean. Alex Eubank right now is shredded. He looks incredible. The fact that he's trying to lose any more body fat, it makes no sense. He's not preparing for a show. He's not a competitive bodybuilder. He's just a guy who looks great and has long hair. He looks like the adult version of Link from Legend of Zelda. Or perhaps the prince from Shrek. And so we have an incredibly good-looking guy with an amazing physique who's not satisfied. And so what is he doing? He's on a cut. Imagine, he's on a cut. Oh, I don't look good enough. I'm not lean enough.
Bro, I can't take this guy for much longer. This is good, though. This is good. Let's continue.
And so as a result of this, it's lowered his testosterone levels. He has less energy. Brain fog doesn't feel as good. And so what should he do? Eat more. Eat more. It's so simple. People are saying, oh, get in 9 hours sleep. Sleep more. The answer is this. Eat more food. But he's thinking, no, I need to go on HRT. Remember when the most simple...
Greg is heated. Greg is heated. So Alex is saying he's not feeling great. He's in this in-between stage. Greg is trying to say the answer to all of your problems, Alex, is not for you to sleep more, not for you to drink more water, not for you to start taking any testosterone. It's for you to just eat more. And he has a point. I think when you've been shredded for so long, when you've been lean for so long, you forget how much of a difference more food makes in terms of how you feel.
The solution is probably the right one. If you're on a diet, you're not eating enough, the easiest way to fix it is to go back off the diet and eat more. Not to inject testosterone, to go on HRT, something you need to do for the rest of your life. I mean, it makes no sense. And so why is he doing this? Well, it's the pressure of social media. People think you need to look perfect, as if Alex Eubank is not close enough.
It's the pressure of social media, but I think it's also Alex consciously knowing that when he talks about steroids, he stirs something in his audience, and it ultimately results in more exposure and more reach for himself and his channel. So Alex is a smart guy. He's been doing this for a while. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure from social media to look a certain way, but I think he's smart enough to know it's a topic that garners attention as well.
Enough. And so I keep telling people, you will never be satisfied. Imagine you look like Alex Eubank, not satisfied. I'm not leaving it out. I need to go on HRT. How many of you would do? How many of you would get? Blah, 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 what I birthday? How many of you would give your left testicle to look like Alex Eubank for one day? But no, it's not good enough. My arms are not big enough. My shoulders are just too small. I'm not lean enough.
That's a great point that Greg makes. A really great point by Greg here. He said, how many of you would give your left testicle to look like Alex Eubank for one day? Meanwhile, on the flip side, Alex Eubank himself is not satisfied with his physique. He's thinking about taking something. He's thinking about, maybe I should eat more. He's thinking this and that. He's not happy. He's not satisfied. And his audience, his fans, they would die to look like him. It's funny how that works.
So it's like I'm flat, but I'm also not at a low body, like low body fat.
Yeah, in between.
Yeah.
That's honestly the worst stage of physique.
And so Alex says, I'm in that middle stage. Bradley Martin, he interjects.
Bradley's
oh,
not
that's the
making it
worst.
better.
No, it's not. How is this the worst? The worst is continuing to diet for one more day. You think you feel bad now? Imagine how you're going to feel tomorrow, the next week, the next month, when you continue to lower your calories, when you continue to drop body fat. And so imagine he gets to his goal, whatever that may be. I don't know what it is, 6% body fat, shredded, vein, six-pack. Is he now going to be satisfied? Is he going to be happy?
3%.
Of course not. Sure, he's going to look good, as he says, with a pump, with his shirt off, flexing. He's going to look incredible. But for what? For a photo on Instagram? He's already got over 1 million followers, making over $1 million. Why does he need to keep going? He already looks amazing, yet he's not satisfied. And I'm telling you, if he does get to 6% body fat, if he did go on HRT, still not going to be satisfied. He's going to then think, wow, oh, I put on 10 pounds of muscle. Look at me. Then he's going to want 10 pounds more. Do you think anyone will ever be satisfied? Do you think Chris Bumstead's satisfied? He's happy with his physique. I'm retired. No, he wants to keep improving. You will never be satisfied. And so my advice, be happy right now.
It's a great point from Greg. Another great point. You're never going to be satisfied on your fitness journey, and you need to stop thinking that you will get to a point where you're satisfied. You shouldn't even want to get to a point where you're satisfied, because if you get to that point and you're actually satisfied, then you're just going to stop, and then it won't take long before you're no longer satisfied. So the process, the journey in and of itself is not meant for you to ever be satisfied. You need to understand that. And you don't want it to either. That's the thing. You think you want to be satisfied. You think you'd be satisfied if you had this or had that, bigger chest, more abs, whatever. But you're not, and you don't want to be, because that's going to put a damper on your hard work and consistency that got you those results in the first place. Keep that in mind. These are wise words from Greg, and it doesn't matter what you take. It doesn't matter what you achieve. You're never going to be satisfied, and you need to hold that idea in mind and remind yourself of that when maybe you're considering something not so reasonable, like Alex is.
Nothing wrong with trying to improve yourself, but going from 12 to 10 to 8 to 6 to 4% body fat doesn't mean you're getting
2%.
better. It's not a competition. The lowest body fat percentage wins. It's not that. It's not a bodybuilding show. And even if it was, who cares? It's for one day. You need to be happy every single day. Not on show day, in the off season, pre-con.
I disagree here. You don't need to be happy every single day. You don't need to feel good about your physique every single day. There's an element of dissatisfaction that allows you to push the boundaries and achieve more. And there's nothing really good that can come from being happy every single day. You shouldn't strive to be happy every single day. I don't worry about whether or not I'm happy. I worry about whether or not I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And sometimes that entails not being happy. Sometimes that entails being hungry. Sometimes that entails being strict on my diet and my training, and that's just what you have to do. So I disagree with Greg here. I don't think the goal is happiness. I don't think that's what you should strive for ultimately above all else. I think you should strive for growth. I think you should strive for self-improvement. And sometimes that doesn't come with happiness. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But Greg, I have to disagree with him on this one.
Tests after the show, always.
That's honestly the worst stage of physique. But you need it though. You know what most people end up doing in that stage? They end up going back, like one or the other. They either go, fuck it, I'm just gonna get big, or fuck it, I'm gonna get lean again. They never get where they wanna go because they're just like.
And so what?
That's what I'm saying. People gain and lose the same 10 pounds every single year. They'll do this mini bulk for 2 months or 3 months, and then they'll get tired of it and they'll cut again and they'll lose the same 10 pounds, and then they'll start feeling small, and then they'll go on a bulk again, and they never stick with something long enough to really see the results of it. If you're bulking, you should be bulking for at least 6 months. If you're cutting, you should be cutting for as long as it takes for you to be undeniably shredded and ascend to Mount Olympus and Farkistan. But anyway, let's continue.
Most people do in that stage? Well, I'll tell you what. They either go off the diet because they're not idiots. They don't want to suffer for so long. They don't want to be starving, have low test levels, brain fog, feel like garbage. And they say, yeah, I tried to lose weight, but I've learned my lessons. I'm too lean. I'm going to now eat and maintain a healthy body fat percentage. For most men, probably 15%. For those with greater genetics, they can maintain a leaner physique. And you know what else they'll do? They'll take performance-enhancing drugs. That is what happens to more people than you know. More than you think. You think you can tell just by looking. Oh, I see that guy. That guy's on PDs. You can't. For the most part, it's average-looking people who just want to look above average. They're not jacked. They don't look like Bradley Martin or perhaps Coach Greg, Chris Bumstead. They're average-looking people that want to look a little bit better. Or maybe they're below average and they want to look average. And so you go on a diet, you're going to the gym, you lose a bunch of body fat and realize you ain't got much muscle. Once you lose all that body fat, you realize, wow, I had less muscle than I thought. I thought if I lost 20 pounds, I'd be shredded. You lost 20, you realize you still have 20 more to go. And so you're not happy. You're thinking, I look skinny. I look flat. No, you're not flat now. You were fat in the off season. And so halfway there. And because you're not satisfied, because you're scrolling through Instagram, swiping left and right and up and down, and you're comparing yourself to the rest and thinking, I'm not worthy. And so what do? You resort to taking performance-enhancing drugs, oftentimes taking SARMs and then abusing steroids.
Yeah, the pressure of social media is most certainly there, and I would argue it's probably even greater for someone who is not an influencer than for someone who is an influencer, because at the end of the day, someone like Alex Eubank has built himself a loyal audience, and almost regardless of how he looks, that audience will still be there for him and they will still support him, as opposed to some random bloke off the street who is on social media, but he's not someone on social media necessarily. He's looking at people like Alex Eubank, maybe even people he knows in real life, and he's consciously or subconsciously comparing himself to those people, and that's where the pressure really comes in, the social pressure, when all you see is shredded guys and your friends are shredded or whatever the case is. If you go to a gym like Alpha Land where a lot of people are in shape and a lot of people are also on PEDs, then if that's all you see, then that's what's going to become normalized for you. And the reality is the majority of people are not fit. The majority of people are not in shape. If you compare yourself against the real averages and the real standards, you'll see just how well along your way you are. But if you're comparing yourself to people like Alex Eubank and David Lade, and you go to Alpha Land every day and this and that, then it's going to be hard for you to ever really see yourself in the proper light. You're always going to think you're not good enough, and you're going to be tempted to dabble in these extracurriculars.
I remember last time I was here, I got my testosterone levels checked, and I showed you it was 215.
Oh,
so I got
that's
it checked.
terrible.
I gained like 15 pounds. I was eating whatever I wanted to. It only got up to 440 though.
Only got up to 440 though, from 215.
215
you
to
think it
440
goes
is not
back to
bad.
normal in a matter of weeks? It often takes months and or
that's right.
years. And so he claims to diet it down to 215 and then went on a bulk, gained 15 pounds and went to 440. Yeah, did you wait for a year? Did you give your body enough time to go back to normal? Or maybe, I don't know, perhaps he was taking SARMs. We don't know for sure. SARMs would cause the body to lower its testosterone production, and then following the cessation of taking those SARMs, it can take months and or years to return to normal.
For the record, I don't think Alex Eubank is on any type of steroids. If I had to put my money on it, I would say he does not take any SARMs either. That being said, SARMs cannot be completely out of the question. It's sort of a milder type of steroid. I don't think he took them, but if it had to be anything, I would say it would be SARMs. I don't think under any circumstance he took any test, any serious steroid. If he took anything, it was probably SARMs. He just looks like a SARM goblin to me.
And oftentimes, it will never get back to where it once was. And so, for example, let's say you start at 900 nanograms per deciliter. That is a lot. You take SARMs, lowers it to, say, 200. You go off the SARMs, months later it goes back to, say, 4, 5, maybe 600. If you're not properly fueling your workouts by eating proper amount of calories, you're not going to have the energy to train hard in the gym. It's going to be a chore, a struggle. What do you think bodybuilding is like? I've done 50...
You know, this is all kind of funny and kind of ironic coming from Greg. He's giving good advice, but the fact that it's coming from him is a little bit ironic to me. Now, seeing this shot here with all of them together, first of all, I didn't know they had ever met up or done something together. Second of all, Greg is in better shape than all of these young cats, and it's cool to see him flexing on these dudes, and he's maybe double their age on top of that. He looks good. Greg looks good for sure. He's got a good physique, but at the same time, he looks like he's maybe 5'3".
59 bodybuilding competitions, 42 natural, 17 enhanced. Every single show was a nightmare. It was a struggle to make it to the gym, just to get to a warm-up, hard. I was suffering so bad trying to get under 5% body fat, living nightmare. And for the most part, 99.9% of people, you're never going to suffer the way I was. You're not going to die to 5%, but I can tell you, even getting to 10% or single-digit body fat.
Greg himself has to be under 10%, just from what I can see on camera here. He's got to be under 10% himself, but as we all know, Greg dabbles in the extracurriculars.
That is going to be a struggle, very hard, harder than you know. You might think, no, it's not hard. I can do without the cheeseburgers. I'll get Coach Greg's cookbook. Yeah, it's going to help. But it's not going to prevent the suffering once you have your calories too low, or if you're losing weight too quickly. You're simply going to suffer no matter what. And so what does Alex Eubank want to do? He wants to go on testosterone. He's calling it TRT. A 22-year-old kid with normal levels of tests, 400s in the normal range. Look at his physique. Does it look like a guy who's suffering from low T? Does it look like his body isn't making enough testosterone to have a normal life? Of course he doesn't need HRT. What he needs is a healthy diet to stop suffering from body dysmorphia and having an unhealthy, unrealistic expectation of how he should look.
Oh shit. I'm like, especially hanging out with the twins, bro, I'm at a point where like, I'm heavily considering.
And think of it, he says, especially where I'm hanging around with the trend twins. The trend twins are admittedly not natural, and they are extremely strong, have a ton of muscle. And so imagine like you're hanging around with guys every single day, you're seeing them, they have so much more muscle than you. Are you not then going to be tempted to do the exact same thing that they're doing? Of course you are. And so if he goes on TRT, TRT is not a joke. It's not something you do for 3 months. It's something you do for the rest of your life. It's medic.
And that's one of the reasons why I personally am not interested in any type of steroids or TRT, anything like that, because you're on it for the rest of your life. If you want to do it in a healthy way, you're on it for the rest of your life. That's it. There's no going back. It's like joining the dark side in Star Wars. There's no going back. So that's a big reason why I've stayed away from it, along with other reasons as well, of course.
Medication supplied by a doctor.
But like I would never, this is the issue, and I'm gonna have to figure out a way to explain on social media, like maybe doing a TRT dose. I don't ever want to blast anything. I don't care about being the biggest guy. I mainly just want the mental, I want to feel like I can have fun training again. Like, cause right now it's like a task every single time.
Do you know how he could have fun training again?
By eating more.
By eating more. By not trying to maintain single-digit body fat. By not trying to get shredded. Do you think I have fun in the gym when I'm dieting for a bodybuilding show? Every single week, I get weaker. I lose strength. It's a nightmare. Going to the gym takes every bit of your energy. That's why we're taking pre-workout supplements, trying to take anything to get through the day. The only thing gets you motivated is the fact that you can see your eye on the prize. I'm going to, in 12 weeks from now, compete and stand on the stage. I'm going to see in 12 weeks if I can be the best version, the best physique I've ever had. And if I'm lucky, I'm going to beat my competition. Perhaps win the first place prize. It's analogous to trying to climb a mountain.
Ran out of space on my memory card, but we're back in action now. Let's continue.
The higher you climb the mountain, the harder it gets, thinner air. But when you plant that flag on the top, it's a sense of accomplishment that you cannot describe unless you've ever tried it. But what Alex is doing is he's trying to climb 3/4 the way up the mountain and just hanging out there for life. It's not healthy. The thin air, the lack of food, the cold, it's a nightmare. Why are you trying to hang out 3/4 the way up the mountain? For bodybuilders, makes sense. You go up there, plant the flag, you come back down. You celebrate. Yay, it was good. I did the best I ever did. I won the contest. I had the best physique I ever presented. And so stop trying to maintain single-digit body fat. That would be like hanging up at the top of the mountain, but not quite putting the flag there, but thinking you're just going to live up there with no problems.
That's a great example. This is the life that Alex chose by getting into the social media game. There is a certain standard of physique that he feels like he needs to maintain, and it might not be all the way up there at the top of the mountain, but it's certainly not anywhere near the bottom. I like this example from Greg. I like this analogy.
Of course it's hard. You want to camp up Mount Everest 3/4 way up for life? Of course you do not. And so stop this. Stop the insanity. Stop trying to maintain single-digit body fat. And before hopping on TRT, at least consider doing something natural. For example, G-test or 3-test. Been shown by Andrew Huberman on the Joe Rogan. All this dude needs is to get 9 hours of sleep every night and his test will skyrocket. No, he needs to eat more. The guy might be sleeping enough already, and just sleeping 9 hours not going to fix the problem. If the problem is not eating enough, the solution is not to sleep more. Bro, gym is a task for all of us. We all enjoy it because we look good for girls. Once you get the girl you wanted, gym is no longer fun for that reason. It's a normal thing, and it's definitely not a reason to do TRT or any drugs. Yeah, I'm not going to agree with you there. I don't think that all the guys go to the gym just to get a girlfriend, and then when you get a girlfriend, you quit going to the gym. Guys, they're training the gym for the aesthetics. Like Aziz, they're trying to look aesthetic. They're trying to improve their bodies. Sure, a side effect could be potentially looking better for girls, but the reason people are going to the gym, it's not to get the ladies.
For a lot of people
and
it
certainly
is, but
don't quit the gym just because you get a girlfriend. That's ridiculous. I'm in that shitty stage where I'm shredded as cookbook. Yeah, that makes sense. He's in that shitty stage. You know, when you're single-digit body fat, that is the shitty stage. Not the middle stage. The lower you get, the worse stage it's going to be. And so this is how the stages actually work. 15% body fat, if that's your healthy body fat, that is the stage you want to be in. If you gain too much fat, you go up to 25. It's not good. You feel like shit. And at the same time, if you lower your body fat too much, you are...
Personally, I don't like to be anywhere over 12% max. And I try to maintain a single-digit body fat percentage. Personally, I don't really notice any bad feeling from it. I don't notice a decrease in test. I don't notice a decrease in energy or strength or any of the things that Greg is mentioning. I don't notice that personally. That's my body. That's how I feel comfortable. So definitely doesn't apply to everyone.
I don't understand why Alex complains so much, bro. I mean, this is a great point. Look at this guy. Yet he's complaining. He's making millions of dollars. He has a girlfriend he loves. He's happy. He's popular. He's got a clothing line, supplement sponsors. I mean, how could it get any better than this? But yet he's complaining. Oh, I don't feel good. I don't have energy.
Just
I'm trying to get shredded.
Farming, guys.
Well, all you have to do is eat a little more. Stop trying to get so shredded. Be happy with 12 or 15%, which is normal and healthy for you. And you got life made. It's that simple, Alex. Stop the cut. Eat more food. Have a healthy, balanced diet. And you got life made. And so let me know in the comment section, should Alex go on HRT or should he add some calories into his diet? And HRT or testosterone, oftentimes that can screw up your HDL, your cholesterol. But one thing that can actually improve your heart health,
We're going to stop the video there, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something either from me or from Greg or perhaps from Alex. I definitely appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for all the support on my channel. We are making moves, we are doing big things, and we are doing it together. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Shoot for the stars.